So we've gone through deconstruction. Now we have to deal with reconstruction. All right, let me just check in with everybody, see how everybody I do. Yeah, how's it going, kings and queens? I hope you're following me. Yeah, we got Lady D in the building, Natty 2 Dread. You know what I mean? We got Gold Gossip, Sunjata, Ata Kakra, and Zambim, like them name there. Some serious name that. You know what I'm saying? We got Everything is Everything in the building. Yeah, man. Share the link far and wide, kings and queens. We got some serious movements. Yeah, we're going to some serious movements. All right. Okay, we're going to go into some things. Yeah. All right. Okay. So that was what Sheikh Identity was dealing with. We're looking at the stabilizing factors. The stabilizing factors does not negate the fact that there is a Yoruba, an Igbo, yeah, an Ogoni, a Hausa, yeah, a Serer, a Luo, a Masai, a Dinka, a Nuer, an Indebele, a Zulu, yeah, a Mbundu. Don't negate them thing there. It just means that there are stabilizing factors that have allowed us to form social order in the past that we can use to inform us today. And so we get to this idea now of reconstruction. The action or process of building or firming something again after it has been damaged or destroyed. Yeah. So our process, our organic indigenous process of analysis and tools of analysis have been robbed from us through the process of the Ma'afa, the invasion, conquest, enslavement, colonization, and neo-colonization of African people around the world. We are seeing ourselves, as Baba Kwesi says, through Western eyes. We have defined our history according to the periodization and the conceptualization of the colonizer. And so now we must reconstruct our own conceptualization, yes, if we are to properly liberate ourselves. And it is in this context that the African identity is birthed. Lord of mercy. Yes, it is in the context of reconstruction that the African identity is birthed as an act of rebellion against the colonizer, the enslaver, the European, etc., etc., etc. All right. So we say no. Liberation that we are dealing with. Make the ancestors be praised, you know. Jeez, and that me live for. Yeah. In the Al-Qaeda and Revivalist movement, the organization in which I was born and raised, yeah, we seek to define these terms like liberation. And so we're defining this now because the reconstruction, the need for reconstruction, takes place within the context of the desire, the need for liberation, and the process of actualizing liberation for our people. By liberation, we mean the acquisition of the power to be masters of our own destiny. This means to have control over every aspect of our lives with the capacity to define, defend, and develop ourselves, thus determining our own destiny. All right. Okay. Acquisition of power to define identity, defend, and develop ourselves, thus determining our own destiny. If we can't define ourselves for ourselves, we will have nothing to defend and nothing to develop. Yes? If you were here from the beginning, you would have heard from Mama Marimba Ani, who says, without clarity on this issue of identity, there is no liberation movement. There is no reason for us to be here. The reality is, however, you check it. Don't take my word for it. I'm putting it out there. Analyze it for yourself. Whenever you see an African, a black man or woman, denying the African identity, trying to negate the African identity, or neutralize the political application of the African identity, explicitly or implicitly, they do so out of a desire to emphasize some other identity over the African identity, to act politically in the interest of another identity other than the African identity, to realize and actualize themselves within another identity than the African identity. And I'm beginning to realize more and more and more that this idea of liberation, and more specifically, nation building, power acquisition, and as Mama Marimba Ani calls it, African world sovereignty, is a, if not the defining factor in these discussions and these debates. Let's go forward. By liberation, we do not simply mean independence, democracy, equality, integration, assimilation, reform, anti-apartheid, anti-colonialism, anti-slavery, abolition, civil rights, human rights, equal opportunities, justice, positive discrimination, humanism, humanitarianism, universalism, racial harmony, multiracialism, multiculturalism, cultural diversity, progress, socialism, or liberalism. We don't just mean any of these things. Yeah, these are what we refer to as euphemisms or weak terms designed to divert us, yeah, from the agenda of total liberation. Some of these things are good. Yeah, nothing wrong with independence. Everything is very good. Abolition, yeah, man. Abolition for Guan. Yeah, if you are a citizen of a country, you have a right to, you deserve your civil rights. And we should all have human rights. So, certainly. Yeah, humanitarianism, all good. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Racial harmony, everything bless. Yeah. Anti-colonialism and all good stuff. Yeah, some of this is all good stuff. All right, but none of it in and of itself is liberation. Yeah, and that's what's taking place at the moment. It's the diversion of our agenda from a liberation-oriented agenda to some other kind of agenda, to assimilationist agenda, to integrationist agenda. Yeah, usually within the context of European nation states and the identities associated with European nation states. The goal, the ultimate goal of an African liberation agenda is to achieve a world African sovereignty as defined by Mama Marimba Ani. She says, yeah, and I had the pleasure of being with her, well, in Ghana last year, but also in Atlanta in 2019, when she was hosting Abakosem Sumsum, yeah, the spirit, yeah, of African history, of the narratives of African history, a ritual, yeah, that she hosts and we all engage in Atlanta, and she says that liberation, we need to define it more. We need to be more descriptive and definitive in terms of what we mean and what we are aiming towards. And so she puts forward the idea of world African sovereignty. Notice the use of the term world African sovereignty, which means African sovereignty is not confined to any geopolitical landmass, but is inherent with the people and the social organization of the people. World African sovereignty. Without our cultural and historical connection, we are not a people. It is the basis of our sovereignty. Sovereignty she's defining in 5 components: our self-governance, our self-reliance, our self-determination, our economic independence, and our self-defense. All right? Not enough time to go into that, but that's just a basic breakdown of African world sovereignty. Okay?